So we are here today with Try This Week, and we have Craig Smith in today from BigPicture Learning. And first of all, Craig, we're going to do a series of Try This Week, which is brilliant. And I think the first thing our audience need to know is a bit about you and a bit about the business. So tell me a little bit about BigPicture Learning.
Okay, so BigPicture Learning, we specialise in visual communications. So that people often talk about these days. We need to show our employees the big picture. That's what we do. We create the big picture and we create a set of learning tools and communication tools around that, so organisations can literally share their big picture with their employees, with other stakeholders within the organisation.
Brilliant. So it's a kind of really important bit for an organisation to get that visual representation, to get that big piece of learning or understanding or development or communications out in an effective way.
Yeah.
So think about Try This Week, and as a simple way to get started here, what's the power of sharing something visually to your team rather than just, let's say, firing an email out?
Okay, well, I mean, if you think about it, when we're very little and when we're children, the first thing we learn is from pictures. We learn to look at picture books, we look at picture stories. It's only when we develop our verbal and literal learning that we're able then to use more complex concepts and words. So it's kind of hardwired into us from a very early age. We learn very, very easily from pictures. The picture paints 1,000 words, and we can transfer information very quickly visually. And we kind of know that. Pie charts, histograms, things like that. So one of the things I would encourage people to do is to look at ways to visualize information. How can we take something that we would normally put into words and convert that into something that's more visual? And we've got a bit of a library of different techniques, from the very simple all through to the very complex that we use. So I think it's a matter of just looking at what it is that I'm communicating, and looking at ways to make that more visual. And that can be as simple as just sketching something out on a flip chart. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be an artist, you don't have to be fantastically good drawer to illustrate something on a flip chart or in a team meeting, rather than issuing having a PowerPoint slide or a written memo or something like that. So we really encourage people not only to use our way of visualizing things, but also to think about how can I be a more visual manager myself.
Yeah. So I think if I for this week, for you Try This Week, it's look at a message that you want to communicate with your team, with the team around you, with customers, with the person you're coaching, whatever it might be, and seeing how you might change that into a more visual representation rather than a written or a traditionally kind of printed up piece.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, there's some great books out there that I could recommend if people are interested as well, for those sorts of visualizing things simply and very quickly in those sorts of situations.
Brilliant. So off the top of your head, what would you suggest to do?
There's a really good book, and it's called On the Back of a Napkin, and the idea is, and I
like it already.
For the life of me, I can't remember who wrote it, so but I can find out for you, and we can maybe put that on the link. Back of a Napkin is very much an idea where the guy came up with the idea. I was in a restaurant and I just wanted to sort of show someone an idea, so I got a pen and I drew it on the back of a napkin, and the whole book is around how can you develop writing on the back of a napkin as a way of communicating an idea, rather than spending hours creating very laborious documents to get that idea across. And it's got a whole methodology around it, which I really like.
Brilliant. So a book recommendation, a real simple Try This Week. Go out and see what you can turn into a visual piece of learning and shared communication rather than written.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Great stuff.